So today we're going to focus on what I think is one of the fastest and also easiest pathways to direct permanent residency in the U.S. Which once you have permanent residency, then within 5 years you can become a citizen of America. So let me just do a brief introduction. First about the program, two about the requirements, and then three about the jobs, and then of course finally about the costs and the timeline for the program. So let me share with you my presentation. You know, I'm actually in the U.S. right now. Tom's right. I usually I've been living in Vietnam the last 4 years, but I've come back to the U.S. to visit with my parents, my family, a little bit, and it's really an amazing time in America because, you know, the EB-3 program is about finding jobs for people and helping. You know, everyone thinks, oh, you know, we're helping people immigrate to America. That's true. But really what you're doing when you come to America, you're helping the American economy. You're going to benefit America. America wants you. They need you. And I would say today, more than ever, there's so much need for workers in America right now. Everywhere I go, and I've been driving around America, every little town to big city, every business, if it's a restaurant, a factory, or a hospital, they have big signs that say workers needed. It's true. It's just, there is a major shortage of workers in America right now. I don't know why, you know, but, well, I do know why. The American economy is very strong. And, you know, there's not enough people to work here right now. So now more than ever, when you apply for an EB-3 worker visa, worker green card, I think you're going to have, you will get approved. And I think they will process these very fast because big companies and small companies both need more workers in America. So, and America is a country of immigrants. You know, it's, I'll give one example before I talk more. You know, America right now still allows, because of the problems in Ukraine, they still allow Russian people to immigrate to the U.S. Russian people can still get visas to the U.S. Russia and Canada are the only two countries in the world that still allow Russians to apply for visas and to immigrate. You know, European countries have closed down immigration to Russians. So what my point being is that America always welcomes people who want to come to America. They don't care about what country you're from. They don't care about your education, your language abilities. They just want people who want to immigrate to the U.S. and make it their home. So, all right, let me talk a little bit about what the benefit you'll be getting will be. So, we're talking about a green card, and a green card is kind of the casual word for permanent residency. Permanent residency means that you will become a permanent resident of the U.S., which means you can stay in America forever. You can work anywhere you want in America. Your children can go to school anywhere in America. You can, you know, take advantage of any sort of social programs like, you know, medical care, Social Security, retirement as a permanent resident. So the great thing about the program we're going to discuss today is that you go directly to permanent residency. This is not a work permit. I want to make this very clear. This is not a temporary visa. This is when you get your when you go through this program, the first thing you get, even before you start working, is permanent residency. So you get a green card because America wants to kind of give a big prize to people who want to come to America and work. So if you spend time with us and you trust us to help you through this process, you will get a permanent residency from the U.S. or what is sometimes called a green card. And I always like to share, why is it called a green card? Because it's actually a little green card. you do have an immigration visa in your passport, but there's a little card that you'll carry around, much like a driver's license. You know, just like it's the size of a credit card you put in your wallet, and that it's green. So that's your actually identification card that you'll carry around. Now, this permanent residency lasts forever, and even after 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. So, again, what I really like about this program is that it's a program that everyone qualifies for. And again, I'm talking a little bit about how I think the American immigration program is very special. There's no other country in the world that has immigration programs like this. So you need no education background, you need no language background, you need no work experience, you need you don't need net worth. You don't have to be rich to do this. The only thing you need to do is to be able to show that you are willing to come to America and work. That's the only requirement for this visa. And you have someone in America who will sponsor you. And that's part of our job is we have partners in America who need workers and will sponsor you for their program or to come to America and work. But again, it's I'm not sure if there's another program like this in the world where you have to have absolutely no experience or education or language abilities to qualify for it to get immediate permanent residence. And it's really fast. It takes about 2.5 years. And I know what you're thinking right now is like, ooh, that's a long time. 2.5 years is a long time. It's really not, for a couple of reasons. One is that for 2.5 years is actually a very fast processing time. If you look at immigration programs around the world, to become a permanent resident in most countries, you have to work for 2 or 3 years, then you're a temporary resident. It can take 5 to 10 years in most countries to even become a permanent resident. And even in the US, even if you invest a lot of money in the US, it will still take you 2.5 years to become 2.5 to 3 years to become a permanent resident. So this is actually a fairly fast process. And especially, I think, when you start considering that probably the only requirement of this program is that you're willing to move to America. And so, you'll probably want to take your family. A lot of people want to do this for their children so they can go and study. So if we start to apply today, in 2.5 years, you're going to need to move to America and start your new life. And when you're going to do that, time goes very fast. So, in the next 2 years, you need to organize your life and think about how you're going to put your children in school. And, it's, and organize your life for a big move, a permanent move to, across the ocean, as they say, to a new country. So 2.5 years, I mean, that is some time, but it actually goes very fast. And as far as an immigration program goes, it's not that long. So a little bit about the process. Now, we've talked about what a green card is. It's permanent residency that leads to citizenship. We talked about how long it takes. It takes 2.5 years, about 2.5 years from start to finish. So if you signed up today, in 2.5 years, you'd be landing in America as a permanent resident. Now, what's the process, and some more about what you have to do to go through the process. So I always like to say, if after this webinar today, you call up Ms. Tommy and say, okay, I'm ready, I want to do this. The first thing we would ask you to do is to send over a resume or just a brief background on your working experience, just so that we know what, a little bit about you. We know where you've worked, how old you are, some of your background. So we do that, and we also gather some of your personal identification documents, like your passport, and then we look at your case, and then we talk with our partners in the U.S., and they will make you a job offer. Oh, there's one more thing. You need to make one short video about 1 minute long, just doing a personal introduction. So although I said that you're not required to speak in English. It's still good to speak some English. And so if you can you'll do a short introduction interview saying, you know, my name is Tyrone. I want to move to America to work in you know, to work at a new job and find new opportunities. I want my children to go to school in America, and you know, so they have more opportunities in the future. Just a very short video. So we put those together, and we speak with the employer, and then he gives you a job offer. Once you have a job offer, we start the immigration process. So we have to do two things. We have to submit your application, or the company has to, your employer in America has to submit your application to the Department of Labor to get what is called a labor certificate. So the first step is we get approved for you to work in America. The company gets approved for you to work in America. After that, then we start on your immigration application. So total, it's, you know, if we started today, it would take, I'd say, maybe 2 to 3 months to gather all of your personal documents to do the interview. We submit your application to the Department of Labor in America to prove that to get a work permit for you. And that will probably take, you know, 4 to 6 months. Once they approve you to work in America, we start on your immigration application, and that'll probably take about another 12 months. So all in all, the entire process will take about 1.5 years. Once you're approved by the U.S. Immigration Services, then you do have to go to your local consulate. So if you're, you know, in Vietnam, for example, you'd go to Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City. If you're, if you find the local consulate and you go and do your interview there. The interviews are very short and simple. They never last more than 10 minutes. And they'll just ask you such very basic questions as, you know, what job will you be doing? What state, what city will you be moving to? You know, how much money will you be making there? You know, they just want to make sure that you understand what you're doing. And then once you go through that interview process at the U.S. consulate, then you have 180 days or 6 months to then travel to the U.S. And you must, and everyone in your family who wants to get a permanent residence or a green card must travel with you at that time. So again, this will take about 2 to 2.5 years. But once you travel to the U.S. after your interview, as soon as your feet hit the ground in America, as soon as your toes touch the ground, you become a permanent resident. And at that point, you know, if your wife or husband are with you and your children, they can even just turn right back around and go back to Vietnam or Indonesia or wherever they might like to go. There's no stay requirements for them. Now, of course, if you are the main applicant, you have a job to do. In fact, you have a job. So you're going to go to where the company's located, and we'll discuss the location here in a minute. You'll spend the next year or 2 years working at this company, for your green card. So, but the rest of your family, they can either live with you, or if you had say friends or family in California or New York City, they can live in other countries as well. So, or I mean, other places in America as well. So your wife can work, your children can go to school for free. So it's just like being an American citizen. And in fact, after 5 years, you can become an American citizen. So again, this is a very powerful program, because it gives you, once you're approved, it gives you all the rights to do the same things as any American citizen. Okay, let me just, again, let me just remind everyone again that this is a family immigration program, so you can take your husband and wife and your children under the age of 21. For you, there's no set age limit. Well, I shouldn't say that. You must be over 18, but there is no, upper age limit, although we normally say that maybe under the age of 55 is about the right age. You do have to have a clean criminal record. You're not required to have any language skills, but I would say if you speak zero English right now, if you don't understand what I'm saying right now, I would really recommend that you start taking a few English courses, because that will just benefit you when you move to America. But most importantly, and sometimes people laugh when I say this, the most important part of this application is that you have to have a good attitude. You have to want to do this. You have to want to move to America. You have to want to start a new job and, start a new life. And trust me, people know this and they will recognize it, that this is what you want to do, and that you're very serious about this. So please, if you're not willing to start a new life in America, this is the right program for you. And that's the big requirement, is that you have to, want to do something new. Okay. So again, I've made this sound, I think, pretty simple, because it is. It really is. There are not many requirements. No education, work requirements, experience. It's a fairly short process, just 2.5 years, and at that point you'll be able to move to America and find a job. So this is usually the point where everybody goes, well, what's the job going to be? Because that is kind of the most exciting part of this program. So let me show you what the jobs are and what the location will be. Just a second. Let me bring up a different file here. Our current jobs are located in, just one second. So our current jobs are located in the city of Indianapolis. Let me share my screen again. Just one second. Okay, so let me share. So the city of Indianapolis is, okay, can everyone see my screen again? Okay, good. All right, the city of Indianapolis is located in the middle of America. It's a middle-sized city of about 1 million people. It's a very famous city for sports and athletics. It has great American football teams and American basketball teams, and even one of the only Formula One race car tracks in America. It's got great universities and one of the best education systems in America. And, it's just, and it's also one of the best places to live in America. It's usually considered one of the cheapest places to live in America, which is a good thing. When you first move to America, and you're starting your new job, you want to save money. So it's not an expensive place to live, but it also has a fairly high level of income. It's an industrial city, so it was built on people working in factories and manufacturing. So they have a lot of respect for immigrants and people who do these types of jobs. So it is a very good place to consider immigrating to. It's about 3 hours from New York City and about 1 hour from Chicago. And, just a little bit about it. We'll discuss the job a little bit in a minute, but, the job will pay probably around $30,000 a year, about $2,500 a month. And, if you think about this, the average income in Indiana is $30,000 a year. So you'll actually be making the average income in Indiana. If your wife or husband comes with you and they work and even make the same amount, you'll be making more than the average household income. So, so people can live on this. So it's, I always say this, you're not going to get rich on this first job, but it is the first job for you. It's an entry-level job where you're going to have opportunities to move up in the company and do more. So let me show you what the job will actually look like. Stop sharing this. Okay. So again, these are entry-level jobs at what's called at a warehouse and manufacturing facility. These are all new factories that are being built, and the actual job is making books, putting together books, and then putting them in boxes and then shipping them around America. So it doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting. It is work, but it doesn't require a lot of heavy lifting. It's not a dirty place. This is the actual location. So you can see it's a very new and modern factory and warehouse. And so most of the time your job would be working on an assembly line, either putting together the books or putting the books into boxes, taping up the boxes, or perhaps you'll be doing inventory, to mark down how many boxes there are being shipped out that day. And as I said, this will be your first job. I always like to tell the story of a Vietnamese client we had many years ago, who she was a professional accountant, a very highly educated lady who worked for a big company in Vietnam as their head accountant. And she decided to do the EB3 program because she wanted to move to America, and she wanted her children to have more opportunities, wanted them to have the education. And so she went from having a very professional sort of job in Vietnam, with a big company and a nice office building, to working in this factory. And it was only about 1 month. She was talking to her manager, and she was telling him, she's from Vietnam, and this is what her job was before. And the manager said, "Wow, that's very interesting. So you have a lot of skills." She goes, and the manager says, "Do you think you could help us do accounting in our company? Because we need a good accountant." And she said, "Well, I think so. Maybe I have to learn and understand what you're doing." But anyway, she, they studied and they talked about it, and it turned out that she was able to become the accountant for the entire company. She still works there. So the idea is that you're not limited to this one job. It's just the job that brings you to America. So in her case, she became the accountant for the company and actually got to use her skills. And I think if in the U.S., if you work very hard, and this is something I think that in Asia you don't see as much of. In America, if you work very hard, it's very easy to move up. So just because you work in a factory, if you work very hard, in 6 months you'll be the manager. In 1 year you might own the company. It's very easy to move around and make more money in America, and especially today when they need workers so badly in America. If you just go to work every day and you try your best, I promise you that within 1 year, you'll be making twice the salary that you start with. I mean, I can almost guarantee that. You'll probably be a shift manager or a general manager at the company. So, if you look at this job, you say, "Oh, I don't want to do this low-level job." You don't have to. I mean, that might be the job that they bring you to America to do. But after 1 or 2 weeks, if you work hard and they find out what your skills are, you'll get promoted and you'll be doing something very different and probably making more money very fast. So, as I described, the actual jobs are just helping kind of glue books together, putting books in boxes, and then shipping them out across America. So it's a fairly easy job. It's a good company, and Indianapolis, Indiana is a very nice place to live. A lot of nice culture and education, and a lot of sports activities. It's fun. It does get cold in the wintertime, so you will be enjoying the 4 seasons, as we say. You'll get snow, but the summers are also very nice. So it's I think it's a wonderful opportunity, but again, only if you have a good attitude and you want to do this. That's the only way it works. Okay. Okay, I think we've talked about all the important things so far. You know, we talked about what a green card is, what the processing time is. It's 2.5 years. We talked about what the requirements are, and then we talked about the job.